Welcome to Couples Parlor, where we bring romantic relationship stories to life. Join us as we explore the many different kinds and facets of romantic relationships, the joy and struggles that come with it. I am Kelvin. In this video I will be narrating the story of Mary and David, who were high school sweethearts and had been married for almost 10 years. They had a beautiful family and a peaceful life until tragedy struck that changed their lives forever. Mary and David faced the toughest of times with courage and resilience, and their love for each other endured, even in the face of adversity. They were high school sweethearts and had been married for almost 10 years. They were very much in love, and they had a beautiful family with 2 young children. One day, David had a terrible accident at work and sustained serious injuries. He was in a coma for weeks, barely clinging to life. Mary was devastated and stayed by his side every day, praying for a miracle. After weeks of uncertainty, David miraculously awoke from coma, but his injuries had left him paralyzed from the waist down. Mary was full of joy that her husband had survived, but she was also heartbroken for the struggles he was about to face. David's life changed drastically. He had to relearn how to do everything, from eating and dressing himself to getting around in a wheelchair. Mary was determined to help him every step of the way. She worked hard to make their home wheelchair accessible and to ensure that David had the best care possible. Unfortunately, after a few years, things started to get worse for Mary. Her health started to deteriorate, and was diagnosed with cancer. She fought hard to take care of herself and David, but the treatments were taking a toll on her. The cancer treatments drained her energy and made her too weak to care for David. David had to move into a nursing home. They were both heartbroken. David and Mary were never apart since they got married. Mary was devastated when she had to say goodbye to David. She visited him as often as she could and wrote him letters, telling him how much she loved him. Sadly, the cancer spread and took Mary's life. David was completely crushed and devastated at the death of his beloved wife. He cried almost every day. He felt lonely, but was thankful for the many years of happiness they shared. He never forgot how strong and loving Mary was despite all the hardships they faced. David felt lonely and became depressed at the nursing home. He missed Mary terribly, and the thought of her being gone forever was unbearable. He spent his days sitting in his wheelchair, staring out of the window and thinking about all the good times they had shared. At night, he would lie in his bed and cry, feeling lost and alone without Mary by his side. He had so many questions, so many things he wished he could have done to help Mary when she became sick. He felt completely helpless and overwhelmed by the sadness he was feeling. The other residents at the nursing home tried to cheer him up, but nothing seemed to work. He started to shut himself off from the rest of the world, refusing to talk or interact with anyone. He felt like he had nothing to live for anymore, and he began to lose hope. One day, a nurse at the nursing home noticed David's depression and suggested he start writing down his thoughts and feelings. At first, he was reluctant, but eventually he decided to give it a try. Writing became David's way of coping with his grief. He was able to express all the emotions that had been bottled up inside of him. He wrote about his love for Mary and all the happy memories they had together. One of the most memorable stories David wrote was when him and Mary went on a romantic road trip to the beach. They packed up the car and drove for hours until they reached the shore. Once there, they spent the day exploring the beach and strolling along the shoreline, holding hands. How they built a sandcastle together, and Mary wrote their initials on the top of the sandcastle with a stick. At night, they laid out a blanket in the sand and watched the stars together. Mary snuggled up against David and they talked about their dreams and hopes for the future. It was a magical night that they would never forget. Another memorable story was the time they went camping in the mountains. They packed a tent and some supplies, and drove to a nearby forest. They spent the day hiking around and exploring the area. At night, they made a campfire and roasted marshmallows. They talked and laughed until late into the night, and when they finally went to bed, the stars were so bright that it looked like they were sleeping under a blanket of twinkling lights. These are just a few of the many wonderful memories David and Mary shared over the years. Even though Mary is gone, David still cherishes these memories and holds them close to his heart, for they will remain with him forever. David became very sick. At the end of his life, he was surrounded by his loving family at the nursing home. He was very weak. His family laughed and cried with him as he reminisced, They all felt a deep sense of peace knowing that he was finally at peace. David passed away peacefully, surrounded by the love and support of his family. He was laid to rest where he can finally be reunited with Mary, the love of his life. The story of Mary and David is a reminder that life is fragile and unpredictable. No matter how hard we try, we cannot predict the future, and we have to accept that. It also teaches us that even in the darkest of times, we can find strength in the love of our family and friends. It also reminds us to cherish every moment we have with our loved ones, for you never know when it will be your last. Finally, it teaches us that even when life takes us to a dark place, we can still find joy and peace in the memories of our loved ones. Please feel free to share your thoughts in the comment, like and share the video. Subscribe to our channel and click the bell button, so you can be notified when a new video is posted. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.